Welcome to the deep dive. You ever stop and wonder why you always seem drawn to that next new thing? That gadget, maybe, or just more stuff?
It's a really common feeling, isn't it?
Totally. So today we're doing a deep dive into this using Thomas Hines' piece, Always Wanting More. It's from his book, I Want That.
Right. And the goal here is really to understand, where does this constant urge for more come from? And what kind of impact does it have on us?
Hines kicks things off by saying, this isn't really new. It's not just modern consumerism driving this.
Exactly. He frames it as something, well, almost fundamentally human. This desire to acquire, to have more than we currently do, it seems to stretch way back in our history.
Okay, so let's unpack that. A basic human feeling, like even thinking about early humans. They weren't just sitting idle, right? They were striving for, I don't know, better tools, safer places to live.
Absolutely. It's that constant push for improvement. You can imagine how throughout history, people look for ways to make their lives, well, better, maybe safer, maybe easier, maybe just higher status.
Status, yeah. So specific tools or maybe ornaments, they could signal something about you within your group back then.
It seems likely, yes, that underlying drive to sort of improve your situation or your standing, that feels like a pretty consistent human trait across time.
So it quickly moves beyond just basic survival needs then. It gets tangled up with this whole idea of a better life, doesn't it?
It really does. We look at something new and we think, subconsciously maybe, that will make my life better. That will elevate me somehow.
But and this is the big question Heim raises, I think, does it actually work like that? Does getting more stuff automatically mean a genuinely better life? Or is that just the perception?
That's the core of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Society often feeds us this narrative, connecting possessions with success, with achievement. The more you have, the more successful you must be.
Right.
But we need to step back and ask, does that constant accumulation truly lead to, like, deeper well-being? Or does it just become this endless treadmill?
And Hein really digs into this thing he calls the focus on stuff, how we tend to use what we own to, I guess, define who we are.
Yeah.
Or measure how well we're doing compared to others.
Yes, it's easy to fall into that. Possessions become these tangible symbols. They represent our hard work, our place in the world, maybe.
Have you ever caught yourself doing that? Maybe making a quick judgment about someone based on, I don't know, their phone or their car. It's kind of uncomfortable to admit, but it happens.
It's very common. But it
Yeah.
raises a really important point. If our sense of self gets too tied up in what we have, well, what happens if we lose those things? Or styles change. It makes that sense of self potentially quite fragile.
Fragile is a good word. And then there's the other side, that immediate buzz you get from buying something, that quick happiness Hein talks about.
Oh, yeah, that initial thrill is undeniable. You buy something new, you feel good for a moment.
But the key word there is moment, right? How long does that feeling really last?
Often, not very long at all. That excitement can fade pretty quickly, and then, well, the desire for the next purchase can start creeping in again.
So it becomes a kind of cycle. You're chasing that short-term hit of happiness.
Exactly, and potentially overlooking other things that might bring more sort of lasting satisfaction or fulfillment, things that aren't just stuff.
Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together based on what Hein is saying. This constant wanting isn't simple greed, it's more complex.
Right. It seems to be this mix of our basic human drive to improve our lot,
Yeah, combined with all these messages we get from society saying possessions equal success.
and then layered on top is that immediate but often temporary psychological reward we get from the act of buying itself.
It's a potent
It
combination.
really is. It's tangled up in our psychology, our history, and the way our societies are structured. Understanding these different pieces, it gives you a much clearer lens for looking at your own desires, maybe.
Absolutely. Which I think leads us nicely to a final thought for you, listener. Knowing all this